Jamie, for hopping on here. I'm super excited to chat with you a little bit around your experience of us working together. And specifically, I'm really excited to dive into the breath work, the embodiment, and all of the practices and tools that I shared and guided you through our time together. Because I know for you especially, you were a little bit skeptical at first around all of this, like breath work, movement, embodiment, like what is all of this? Don't have time for it. So I'd love for you to share a little bit. And I totally resonate with that as well. I used to be like that. So I'd love for you to share a little bit around what you were like before and why you sort of came into my world and what that experience was like.
So I am very much a hustler by nature. I feel like that's what I was like that's my kind of natural state of being, is like hustling and doing, which I think is like really common and just like what we're brought up around, and being in a city and fast pace and that type of thing. And so I was really lucky actually to be introduced to you because basically because we were working together, and on the other end of things, I was like, I like her and I trust her. But I feel like I never talked to you about this, but it's like, I feel like I would have never found you, or how would I have been open to it otherwise? But I'd spent so much time with you already that I already trusted you. And then when you were sharing about how, I remember you had this story about you and Jay, I think, and how like you didn't even want to wait at stoplights or something like that. And I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, I don't have fucking time for this shit. Like, hurry up. So I thought, sorry, I'm like so bad with the swearing, but
it's all good. It's all good.
So anyway, when you shared that, I was like, she gets it. Like, it's a constant like struggle to like calm down and be present. And so I think when you shared that story and I knew that I'd already trusted you and work with you in a different capacity, I was like, oh my God, like this is my girl. I need to work with her. But it was still, I really had to keep an open mind because it basically went against my entire way of being.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, the stoplight thing, like legitimately, I used to hate standing at stoplights. I'd be like, this is so fucking annoying. Like red light, and me and Jay would just like rush across the street. And yeah, I definitely feel like I've had moments where I've almost been run over, which is kind of crazy. And now I'd love to take the opportunity to be like, let's be slow, but it's impossible when you're in that rushing around state. So I love that kind of drew you in. And then what was your experience like as you dived in, especially to the breathwork? Because you had done a workshop initially with me, gone through we've done some programs together, coaching. Like, what was your experience as you started to dive into all of this work? And how did you start to experience, like, what were the shifts that you felt within yourself and in your life?
So when I first went, actually, when I did my first workshop with you, it was like a breath work. I feel like it's like a Friday night breath work type thing. I was dying the entire time. I'm like, when is this going to be over? This is really fucking hard. And not hard because like hard in like a weird way where I'm like, okay, like, let's get on with it. Like, you want me to just slow down and breathe? So that was like my first experience. And then sorry, you wanted me to share about like my experience going through us working together, right? Okay. Sorry, I'm like all over the place. So
no, it's all perfect.
Okay, excellent.
Whatever you want to share, like whatever comes through.
I love it. Okay, amazing. So yeah, that was the resistance really. So I had a lot of resistance to slowing down, and a lot of it coming from just like fear of not being productive, not working towards my goals, because I'm an accountant, I'm a CPA, like structure and like efficiency and productivity are very important to me. And this it's not actually, but it felt like the opposite to that. And so, so when Steph and I started working together, she would give me little bits of like homework or things to work on in the week, which would be, do breath work, do this, and I remember even when she would ask me to do like 5 minutes of something, I'd be like, oh God, right? And then slowly but surely, as we built on the breath work and I started doing some journaling, which I used to not have the patience to do as well, I started to slow down. And I started to feel more. And that was really magical as well, because sometimes, because the thing about being productive and super efficient is you don't really give yourself the time to feel things that are in your life. So whether it be like things that are happening now or things that have happened in the past that you need to process, or things that you don't even know, but they're just stored in your body and you have no words to put to them. And so that's what was really special about working with you, Steph, was that it by definition gave the time and space to slow down and work through things. So be it like the little bits of homework, or the time that we spent together on the calls, or the workshops. You know, I love a good workshop. It's like giving the time and the space to do those things, and then having somebody like you who's like, it's perfect. This is exactly, you know, to validate as you're going through, because it just felt like so completely opposite. So the breath work for me, it was magical. I would say breath work is like, it is like the magic pill, like take it every day and you're like, okay.
100%.
So now I feel like I have an actual, I can feel when I'm getting back into the hustle zone, I have the tools to support when I do want to be slower and drop down into things and feel things more. So yeah, that was my experience.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that. And I just want to know, we have fun together, don't we?
Oh,
Always having
always having fun and talking about whatever you want to talk about. And oh yeah, like that's the nice thing too. It's like it's never actually serious. Like it is serious because we're working on serious things, feelings and stuff, and like the addiction to the hustle, but it doesn't ever feel serious because it's Steph and she makes things approachable and fun. So
I love that. I love you. So last question is, what shifts have you experienced from all of this work? Breath work, embodiment, all of the work that we do together. How have you changed from being like hustle, fast paced, like that, addicted to productivity, which I feel like so many humans and women especially can relate to? What shifted for you and how do you feel and move about your day now?
I mean, this is going to sound really funny because it's going to be like you're a CPA, because I feel like I was a bit of a robot before compared to now, because I feel like I feel things more now. So the good feels really good and the bad feels really bad, but I do feel more the full range of emotions because I am connected to my body and I'm connected to the feelings that are flowing through my body, which is really, really rewarding. And like, I give myself a lot more grace now in my day-to-day life. Like I treat myself like with a lot of love, like I validate, you know, because that's another thing about working with Steph is like, if you don't have someone in your life like her to be like, that's normal, or like, you know, it is a difficult situation you're going through. Some people were just like naturally, we just don't talk nicely to ourselves. So now I feel that I'm way more compassionate and patient with myself as well. So I would say those are the real big shifts that I made.
I love that. Yeah, we're all way too hard on ourselves as a general. So I love that is a shift you've experienced. And one other thing that I'd love for you to share briefly on is I remember you sharing with me about how more present you are. And I remember there was an experience, was it on holiday? And then there was an experience with a weekend where you just went against the grain of what you were supposed to do and actually like flowed with like, I feel like doing this, so I'm going to create my morning in a way that feels good. Can you just chat a little bit around that? I'm not sure if you remember what I was talking about, but you were supposed to go to something and then you were like, I'm going to do this instead because this is what I feel like doing.
Yeah, it was a family gathering. It was like a family event that I was going to, and there were two parts of it. There was like the church part and then the reception part. It wasn't a wedding, but it was a baptism. And so there was a church part, there was a reception part. Like, I'm not like really about that church life, but I'll go for like the tradition of it, right? But the morning was just hectic. I didn't have enough time. Like I really wanted to like do my breath work, and it was on a weekend. So like on the weekends, I spend more time journaling and connecting to myself. And it's like, I felt like I had got up and I had to get dressed and go. And which is funny because that's how I used to always be like on a regular basis. But I'm like, no, I want to have a slow weekend. And also like, I want to be in like my best, I want to feel good when I'm meeting up with my friends and family. So I said, like, I literally just decided I'm just going to take care of myself this morning and then deal with it after. So that's what I did. I did my morning routine. And then I was like, when I get there, I get there. And then even on the way there, I reached out and I was like, you know what? The church is halfway done. One of my friends said, just meet us at the reception. And so I went shopping, did some breath work in the car, and then met everybody at the reception, and it was beautiful. And I was so present and had so much fun because I had that morning to rest and do what I wanted to do. So, and no one missed me at the church. Let's be real.
I love that example though. Thank you for sharing, because it's such a real world example of going against like, well, I'm supposed to go here because I said I would, but that's going to take away from what I actually feel like I need and what is going to fill me up. So it's such a great real life example that usually people go like more people pleasing towards, I have to do this. And now this example is like, no, I get to flow in this way and actually be more present and have a deeper connection whilst I'm there and more fun because I took that time for myself. So thank you for sharing that. It's so beautiful. And you know, I love working with you so much. I'm going to be seeing you at the future workshops. That's for sure, right?
Yes, 100%. You know, I love seeing you all the time.
Thank you so much for sharing so openly. I really appreciate it.